In today's example, you're going to be rearranging equations to solve for the variable indicated, okay? So this equation has two variables. And the question says solve for x. So all you're doing is you're rearranging the equation to have x on the left side and every other term on the right side. So the y doesn't disappear, it's still going to stay there. So the goal here, the goal is to isolate x. On the left side, I have a 3x, and I have a positive y. What's the first thing you want to get rid of? We have a plus y, but I don't want my y on the left side. I only want my x on the left side. So how would I get rid of a plus y? Minus y, right? Just like if it was a number, it's the same thing. So what do I have to do on the right side? Minus y. Okay, so I have 3x, and then I have 5 minus y. Okay, so I have 3x on the left side. To isolate x, what would I have to do with the 3x? What's the opposite of 3 times something? Opposite operation? Division, right? If I divide this by 3, I'm left with just my x. What do I have to do on the right side? Divide everything by 3. So x is equal to 5 minus y over 3. That's it. That's the answer. We could write it, okay, we can write it as x equals 5 divided by 3 minus y divided by 3 because you're dividing everything by 3. So yes, technically you could simplify 5 over 3. Good. We can write that as a decimal. What's 5 divided by 3? The answer is x equals 5 over 3 minus y over 3. The question just said solve for x. I solved for x. To solve for x means to isolate. I've put x by itself. Okay, so again, if you want to separate, we have our left side and we have our right side. Solve for y, my answer has to say what y is equal to. So what do you think the first thing you want to undo? What's the first thing you want to get rid of from the left side? Right? So I take away 2 x's. I have 2 x's and I take away 2x. Right? 2x. This is a positive 2x. I take away the 2x. So what do I have to do to the right side? If I took 2x away from the left side, what do I have to do on the right side? Take 2x away. So what am I left with on the left side? What does my left side have? 5y, because I've eliminated that. And on the right side, what do I have, Sebastian? Good. Negative 10, take away 2x. Can I take 2x away from 10? Negative 10. No, they're not like terms. So that stays. Okay? But I need to isolate y. I have a 5y. This is the easy part. What's the opposite of 5 times y? Divided by 5, which means I have to divide this by 5, and I have to divide this by 5. So yeah, we're going to separate it. I have y equals, simplify it where you can when it's not a repeating decimal. Can we simplify this?
Negative 5.
What's negative 10 divided by 5?
5. Negative 2.
Negative 2. And negative 2 over 5x. We'll leave that one as a fraction. And we've looked at this before. This is actually in the form y equals mx plus b, right? Y equals mx plus b. What's my m? Raise your hand, please. What's m in this question? Yeah? Pardon? Negative 2 over 5 is my m because that's next to the x. And my b is... Remember this? This is m. It's the number in front of the variable, which is called the coefficient, right? The m is in front of x, and b is the number by itself, so negative 2. I just rewrote this. I just flipped the order around. Okay? Doesn't matter. I'll accept that and that as your answer. This is the exact same thing. I just flipped this over. I wrote it first, and I wrote that last. Okay, so this equation is c equals 2 times pi times r. What is this an equation for? Circumference of a circle. Question might say solve for r. if you rearrange this whole equation to isolate r, well, why would somebody might want to do this if they were dealing with the circumference of a circle? Why would you want to isolate r? Think, if you're given the circumference and the question says find the radius, well, if you rearrange the equation first, then you can plug in the numbers and then find the radius easily. You do this anyway. You rearrange your equations when you're finding the radius, right? You work backwards. Okay, so again, we have C on the left side, but I want to know what r is equal to. Okay, so I have r on the right side. This is what I want to isolate. What's the opposite operation? If it's 2 times pi times r, what's the opposite of multiplying? So what would I divide by to get r by itself? Divide by r? That's gone then. If I divide this by 2, I still have my pi r. So what else do I have to divide it by? Divide it by pi. What do I have to do on the left side? Divide by... So I'm dividing by 2 and I'm dividing by pi. So I have to divide by 2 and pi on the left side. I've isolated r. R is equal to C divided by 2 pi. That's it. That's the answer. So if you were given the circumference, you can use this formula to find the radius. You've just rearranged this equation. You've just rearranged the equation so you can easily figure out what the radius is if you're given the circumference. So I just switched the order because I want to keep my unknown on the left side. You don't have to do it like this, but some of you like to visualize it with your unknown, the variable you need to isolate. You like to keep it on the left side. So we are dividing the left side by P and T, right? So I have to divide the right side by PT. So yes, you're correct. R is equal to I over PT. Raise your hand if you got that one right. We have plus 2W. If I have 2 apples, same example, how do I get rid of the 2 apples? Subtract them, right? If I'm subtracting 2W from the right side, what do I need to do to the left side? Subtract 2W from P. And I'm left with 2L. I'm left with this. I've subtracted the 2W to get rid of it, so I have to subtract the 2W on the left side. So the first step is P take away 2W equals 2L. How do I isolate this L? Divide it by 2, so I have to divide this by 2, and I have to divide this by 2. So L is equal to P over 2 minus, what's 2 divided by 2?